So these headphones are a brand new experience to me. I've never heard anything like these out of headphones or even speakers. And you would think it's weird to bring up speakers in a headphone review, but I really feel like these bridges the gap to monitors in a lot of different ways. And for the first time, I felt like I could work and live without monitors because the sound reproduction on these is so well done. Not only in dynamics and resolution, but also in the space these suddenly put you in. So yes, in today's video, I have a lot to talk about. But before we start, I want to mention that this video is sponsored by Focal, and I am in no way going to try to sell you these headphones. But what I am going to do is describe my personal experience with these, and you can take it how you want to. I'm making the video I wish someone made a long time ago in detail, and even if this video wasn't sponsored by Focal, I would definitely buy these and not send these back, because from the time I opened the box 3 months ago, I have used these every single day. Whether that's mixing, music production, editing videos, or watching even movies, I've used this more than any other piece of gear I have in my studio. So these headphones are definitely not cheap. They're $1,500. And from all the things I reviewed on this channel, you've seen me review from budget to high-end gear, I will say these are 100% justified in the price. From sound, dynamics, resolution, only a few of the things I've reviewed on this channel have given me a new experience, and these headphones are one of them. I will say that this video is going to be very, very in-depth, so if there's something you want to see specifically, whether it's just sound quality, translation, it's all going to be down in the bio. So hopefully I can be successful in articulating what's in my head. So let's start out first with the packaging. The unboxing of any piece of gear I own or use in my studio isn't always important to me, but what it does tend to show is how proud a company is of their product. It doesn't make the product, but what it does is enhance the first impression. From the material of the box to the color and the font, it all proves Focal's reputation for the finer things. Knowing these are designed and made by the French, it's only right. The box includes 2 wires, 1 desktop length, and 1 curly long wire, extra microfiber pads, a 1/4-inch adapter, and a very rigid carrying case that I for sure banged up over these last 3 months of hard daily use. The build quality alone tells me that these headphones are expensive. You just know that they are when you see these and pick these up. Premium materials like breathable microfiber for the ear pads, aluminum for the ear bridge, and plastics that you can't really tell if they're metal or plastic because of how rigid and light they feel. These headphones are slightly large at a glance, but still pretty light at 0.99 pounds, basically a pound. The clamp force is perfect for my oblong head, and comfortability or fatigue hasn't been an issue to me using these for over 4+ hours in a row. They sit flush and feel like there's nothing there after a while because of the weight and the nature of open back headphones. These are easily one of the best looking headphones I've come across. From the exposed metal grille or mesh hiding the large 40mm magnesium diaphragm that you can get a glimpse of in the right lighting. Everything about these headphones show attention to detail and refined character. So I have here the Clear MG Professionals, but they also have a hi-fi model for just casual listening. But from what I could find online, there is no difference in the sound quality between the two. The only difference is that these Pro models just have a less flashy color palette. Getting into the specs and design, these are open back headphones that allow the sound to leave and enter the headphones, giving a more natural and open tonality. Having open back headphones prevents the buildup of frequencies around your ear, allowing them to breathe and extend lower. But as a consequence of this design, people around you can hear what you're listening to clear as day, so you definitely can't record with these on. I personally have no problem listening to these in coffee shops, but it depends on the ambience level because these will not only let everything out, but everything in as well. To my ears, they only cut around maybe 3 to 5 dB, mostly of high frequencies when you're playing no music, so they are very transparent when you put these on. But usually when you turn on the music, everything else drowns out. The massive 40mm M-profile diaphragm moves with power and finesse. At loud volumes, you can see how much this driver can dance, and you can see how it's intentionally placed, audibly free-floating, forward, to align with your ears. Once you understand how many little details are engineered into these, it starts to make sense on how much of an immersive experience is achieved. So as far as specs that actually matter, these headphones play from 5 kHz to 23 kHz at plus or minus 3 dB. They have an impedance of 55 ohms and play at a sensitivity of 104 SPL. Most of my listening experience with these is directly from my headphone port on my MacBook Pro, but I also use my THD DAC amp and a few audio interfaces. But to me, these sound just as good out of my MacBook Pro compared to out of my DAC amplifier. So if you don't have an amplifier, don't feel like you're missing out because it sounds pretty good. So getting down to what matters, the sound quality of these is just unfair. As you guys know, I get a lot of cool gear in, and I always love to share the experience with the people around me and get their opinion on how something sounds. And every person I demoed these with, from non-creative to music heads to audio engineers, all said the same thing, that these give you a level of quality that they have never heard in their life. And usually from the stuff I show people, that doesn't always happen on first impression. Another funny comment I got from some knowledgeable people was, how many speakers are in these when there's obviously just one? The best way to sum these up in a few words is insane dynamics, a natural soundstage, and full immersion when listening to these. Starting with the soundstage, this is the first time I ever felt I could not only hear left to right, but also up and down. So just hear me out here. We only have 2 ears, but yet we can localize sources from up and down. How is that? Well, tonality changes from up and down. And I'm not the only one who said this. It literally sounds like a surround sound system in your ears. I can constantly hear sounds from left to right and anywhere in between. Reverb tails are so crystal clear until they disappear into nothing, whether that's up and down or even behind your ears. This is important to know when you're mixing because you want a controlled, honest soundstage, just as you want an honest frequency response. That is not much of a problem with lower budget headphones, but once you step into the high-end world, it is a whole new parameter that you want to translate. It's a weird sensation to experience a natural soundstage like this, but not sound artificially inflated like some gaming headphones. The soundstage does not only go from left to right, but it also goes in and out. And that is one of those things that is really hard to do on any system. But in order to do that, you just have to have a very, very large dynamic range. And dynamics is where these really shine the most. I can hear every element, no matter how quiet or how loud it is, with the same clarity. And that's a weird thing to say, because usually when you hear something quiet in headphones, it has a different tone. But I really felt like when I heard something quiet on here, whether that was a kick or a hi-hat, it had its full tonality no matter where it was placed. The speed these play at is so much faster than any other headphone I've used or owned over the years. It's crazy to see how this massive driver, visibly pumping low bass, but at the same time manages to play the most minute detail in the mix. Having this range of dynamics really helps you focus on if you compress certain elements enough in the mix. So in my opinion, the sound profile of these is not extremely razor flat. It is very slightly sweet. I feel like it has just a touch more bass and a touch more treble. It is very, very subtle, but it's not in one of those ways that is over exaggerated and is going to hinder you in the mix. In fact, it's going to keep you mixing longer and enjoy the process while at it. I prefer this slightly taste to keep them from fatiguing your ears and losing the emotion of the song. Because at the end of the day, nothing is flat on your room or even on your ears. So don't fall into the hype that you need razor flat monitoring. What you really need is something generally flat, but with a character that suits your taste. And honestly, the sweeter sound of these could just be because I've never heard such clear bass or treble. When I start using headphones in a mix, it's usually first to check bass translation. So these headphones are known for having that bass slam. In other words, the bass has a lot of impact, weight, or punch. Having such a large diaphragm, the bass has such an effortless and natural feel to it. Like it will never top out or be flustered trying to handle the whole range of frequencies. It extends so low to 5 Hz, giving a sense of non-audible pressure, usually only heard from theater surround sound systems. So don't be mistaken in believing that there's too much bass. Headphones usually roll off pretty early, so you might not be used to the deep lows of these. The mids on these are crystal clear, just like the name states. Vocals, guitars, percussion all deliver a dynamic presence, all while being honest. The mid-range is the money range for us audio engineers. That's why I love and swear by my Aventone mix cubes, because it refocuses your ears on the range that translates the most. Even though the Aventones do it in a really brutal fashion, these will let you know if there's something wrong in your mid-range. If there's a resonance or something you need to clean up, it'll tell you right away. Vocal is known for having non-fatiguing speakers from their tweeter, usually made of magnesium or beryllium. Because its diaphragm is made of one of the lightest metals on earth, it reproduces treble with the fastest transient response I've heard. One amazing characteristic of that is that it's non-fatiguing in nature. But unlike ribbon tweeters, it still maintains a tone that we're used to, and that translates across all speakers. The high end on these manages to tickle your ears with hi-hats and shakers, but make no mistake, if a vocal needs de-essing, it is made apparent right away. So when I first took these out of the box and put these on, I looked to my friend and I told him that I actually trust these. Usually a process is involved when you get new headphones or monitors. You have to learn them and understand them before you make any critical decisions in your mix. But from the way these play, from bass to treble, I knew right away that I could trust these for some reason. I just knew right away I wouldn't have to learn these because there was no faults standing out to me. Some headphones I've owned and used extensively include the Sennheiser HD650s, Bear Dynamic DT990s, DT1990s, DT770s, Audio-Technica M40s, M50s, and every single one of these headphones you have to understand and test first. The HD650s are dark and muddy, so it has to be in my head every time I mix. The Bears are extremely bright and the S's are way overpronounced, so I feel like those headphones are good for checking a certain aspect of the mix, but I've never been satisfied with checking all aspects. I knew right when I put those headphones on of their faults. But even on first response of listening to these, me and my audio engineer friend said that there is no audible fault or anything to be avoided in these. It's almost like there's no compromise made. When I sweep EQs, the quality and tone stays the same through the whole range. There's no range that lacks transient detail or resolution. The bass hits just right, the mids translate, and the highs are fast and honest. After mixing my first song on these and going to my car, which has a crazy 14 speaker sound system, everything translated and still managed to have life and dynamics. So these in fact translate faithfully, and it really helps me understand how so many audio engineers and mix engineers have been living that nomad lifestyle of mixing on just headphones and in the box. At $1,500, these headphones will save you time and energy spent on a mix. Even in casual listening, if you want to hear something new you've never heard in any of your songs, go ahead and give these a try. So especially if you're coming up from HD650s or mid-range monitors, you're going to be blown away on how these sound and just feel. So that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and have a good day. Cheers.